giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial. The Martin Houston Show can also be seen simulcasting on Facebook at Martin Houston Live, Tide 109 Live, Alabama Tradition, personal Martin Houston page, and on YouTube at Martin Houston Live, and at Martin Houston 35 on Twitter. So a lot of different ways to watch it in the digital world, online world. Also, don't forget about that Tide 109 app that you can download to your smartphone, take with you wherever you go. Hey, and you happen to be locked behind your desk and you want to have some good background listening, log into Tide 109 on the internet. And if you have a little time to read, you can go read some of the great articles being posted at Tide 109. Speaking of a couple of those things out there, Hilton, Ambrose Hilton landing. So we'll talk about that and a couple other stories you guys have that's up on that. But before we get into that conversation, I want to remind you that this is a day that the Lord has made. So let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference maker that you want to see in the world. Don't wait on someone else to do it. Go out and do it yourself. You can also join the conversation by chatting with us on those various outlets, or you can call us on the Alabama One hotline at 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline, open for business for your calls and comments. And we got a great show lined up for you today. Going to have some true false where I banter back and forth with Joe, and of course we'll have in the kicking off the second half, we'll have some recruiting news and updates from Hank South 247 Sports, Bama Online Recruiting. And then, of course, hey, whatever you bring to the table, we'd love to hear from you today. So once again, the Alabama One hotline open for business. Good morning, Joe, and thank you for sitting in yesterday, man. I appreciate you.
Oh, no problem at all. Had a lot of fun yesterday, and glad to have you back. Get back into action. Oh, you were opening up a new branch yesterday. Is that what I saw?
Well, we were not. We were. It's been open. So up in my hometown, Alabama One has opened a branch. We open, but we do things occasionally. To let the people know we're there. So that was another one of those activities we had up there. We'll be doing that at that branch as well as a couple others. We have one scheduled. What the event I had yesterday was called a Waive Wednesday, where we waived the membership fee, Joe, for Alabama One. You can get that free account and come meet the new team. We have one scheduled for Gordo, right, next week. But if I'm not mistaken, if Gordo wins a baseball game on Monday, I think it is, when they play again, if they win that game, I think they go to like state or something, and so Gordo will be shut down. So we probably won't hold that event. I told somebody that's the difference about like being in like Tuscaloosa Metro and moving to these smaller towns. You have to not just be in touch. It'd be like if Alabama had a big game plan, Joe, and all of a sudden that game wasn't going to be in Tuscaloosa but was somewhere else. You would make different plans. Yeah, that's kind of how we have to. So we have to watch. Alabama One has to watch these small towns, and we're wishing Gordo, nothing but success and good luck. We can reschedule our event. Hopefully, those young men will win and represent the Green Wave. So
absolutely, Gordo loves the Green Wave. I hope that. I hope you get that branch going, and everybody gets a lot of help and love from Alabama One.
Absolutely. So, hey, but yeah, man, several things. We're gonna do some true false, but and so I'll piggyback up off of a topic that you had on yesterday in a minute. But a couple of quick stories. I mean, like I said, I briefly hit on it, but but there's so much going on. I know during this time, a lot of people think, man, what's going on in the sports world? And there's so many different stories out there happening in terms of Alabama sports and around the country. And yesterday, Ambrose Hilton, a couple days ago, I'm sorry, you landed in the AAC. Once again, I guess I can kind of ask you a true-false question off of that. Are these Alabama guys? Have you seen any of them technically land in a better place? In terms of jumping out as he landed at SMU?
Well, I'm going to say false. I don't think we have had anybody that's landed in an upgraded place. The only one that you might be able to argue, James Rojas ended up at Wichita State, and they've got a nice little program, but they've fallen off from what they were
Right.
couple years where they went to deep in the tournament. Let's see. Juwan Gary ended up in
Nebraska.
That's not as good as Alabama. Oh goodness! Jason Holt ended up at Georgia, and that's not their program is definitely not as good as ours at the moment. So no, I think everybody who's left at the moment has probably found a better place for them personally, but not as high profile as Alabama.
Right, absolutely. Is the USFL gonna finally figure it out as these pro leagues start getting more of these local Alabama, Auburn guys being a ticket to help them be successful as yet another former Alabama player landing in the USFL as Bo Scarborough last week, joined the Birmingham Stallions and now former kicker Austin Jones landing there. Are they going to finally figure out that that's part of the ticket to be successful in these markets?
It's got to be part of the formula. The Birmingham Stallions are probably the only team that actually has had good attendance in Birmingham. Now they're not necessarily worried about the attendance because the television ratings have been fairly good for the USFL. But getting more local flavor in the stadium is how you're going to get the fans out to the games. I think it's great to get Bo in there, the former kicker. The Birmingham Stallions need to go talk to Daniel Wright. I think he's the only undrafted free agent from this Alabama class that hasn't gotten picked up from a team. They ought to just go offer him a deal right now to finish off the season and put some tape out there that might get him catching on to an NFL roster. But yeah, any Alabama player that's still trying to play some football, I think the Stallions or any of the USFL teams that are playing right there in Birmingham should explore the option to bring them in.
Yeah, and that's the way I look at it too. Is if I was doing that, I would definitely probably hone in a little bit more on taking advantage of the Alabama love of football, Auburn love of football, and try to get that taken care of in terms of getting some butts in the seat. I mean, yeah, butts in the seat. I've actually watched the USFL product. True, false. Better product than you were expecting in year one.
Oh, Martin, I gotta tell on myself and say that I haven't watched any.
Okay.
I mean, just based off what I've heard from other people, I think that they're pleasantly surprised. Obviously, it's not the old USFL with Herschel Walker, Herschel Walker, and the star power that the old USFL had. But I think the people are pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I have been pleasantly surprised with what I've seen from the league so far. So, hey, we're gonna go. Let's go to break a little bit early. Get out a minute or two early. Hey, and then come back. I'm gonna hit you with some true, false. We're gonna talk the 85-man roster, 25-man limit. I mean scholarship limit. We might save that one for Hank. But the NCAA, Joe, technically came out and made a statement about NIL. Is it too little, too late? And then some of the NCAA coaches talking about needing windows. Will that help? And then I got a quarterback true false for you that we can talk about. regarding the big recruitment, Eli or Manning. Not Eli Manning, Eli or Manning. We'll talk about that on the other side right here on the Martin Houston Show.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks and everything pretty quiet as we start our Thursday morning. Of course, if you do see conditions throughout the day that folks need to hear about, please give me a call, 205-886-8886. Now you can get a lifetime powertrain warranty on used vehicles at Townsend Nissan at no charge. See dealer for details. I'm Captain Moret.
In a collision, easy decision. Make one call to one name. Mesrano, 206-6300.
No representation with the quantity legal services to be performed. Take where the quantity legal services performed by other law.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school. That education got me to the first day at my dream job, which I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job and the home loan benefits I got from the Army National Guard helped me buy my first house. I also know that I will be one of the first to respond if my community ever needs me.
Sponsored by the Alabama Army National Guard. Aired by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
O'Reilly!
If you're getting sprinkled and slip or dust and stop it like this. Brake rotors and pads. Now through May 24th at O'Reilly Auto Parts, get 15.
At Comcast.net and visit them online at southmarkdesign.com.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904. Tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
All right, you're back in with the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. Let's get it going. Phone lines are open, 205-342-9904. The Alabama One hotline is open for business. Want to hear from you this morning. Man, there's so many angles and directions to go in, Joe, with this NIL and all of that, and whether the NCAA is ever going to be able to get any control back on it. And they came out with this big announcement, but I don't think they really said or did a whole lot. Is it too little, too late? Or are they really just reinforcing what was all? Are they going to try to reinforce a rule that was already there? Now here's the thing: when the NIL came out, it was never supposed to be pay for play. It was supposed to be performance based. And here were three things that the NCAA supposedly left in place, Joe, listeners, around college football. And I think these things are important. And number one is athletes could not be paid solely for playing their sport. Okay. In other words, you couldn't just, because a guy played football or basketball or whatever, you couldn't just sign them a deal and say, hey, he plays for Alabama football. Okay. That there had to be something else in the deal. Compensation could not be used to lure an athlete to a particular school. In other words, you cannot entice a high schooler by offering them a deal to come to your school, a la Tennessee apparently has done this. And you cannot lure a kid from ABC school, Pittsburgh, to USC, a la what appears to have happened with Jordan Addison, and appears to be what Satterfield is accusing Saban of, and he's denying it. Third, financial arrangements must have some type quid pro quo agreement in which the athlete was being paid for services provided, an attendance, a post, filming a commercial, or he had to be doing something in return. Okay, that is supposedly what the NCAA ruling or announcement the other day. They didn't come up with any new rules, Joe. True, false. Is it too little, too late for the NCAA to even wheel that in at this moment?
Absolutely true. I think it's too late for the NCAA to reel it in for two reasons. One, because the cat's already out of the bag, and we already know, we already know what it's like. Oh, we've been doing this, and now you got to rein it in. On that level, just on a more, think about with your own children, Martin. You get three kids. I mean, if you allow them to do, oh, I'm going to allow y'all to stay up till 9 o'clock to watch TV or whatever the case may be. And then a couple of weeks later, you say, you know what? I think that's a bad rule. I'm going to make it 7 o'clock. You probably get a lot of pushback from your kids at that point. And that's just a small example on a larger scale. But then turn it into this. The NCAA is powerless. The NCAA can't enforce anything. The NCAA has shown over the last 2-3 years that whatever they want to do is really up to the schools to comply. Imagine you're the parent and now you have no power. So I think the NCAA is ridiculous for putting this out there a year and a half too late, and combine that with the fact that they didn't really have a whole lot of power beforehand.
Yeah, and I think the last statement you said is ultimately the reason. I don't know where it's gonna go, but as far as right now, the other thing they added is that they're gonna go back and fine people egregiously for the egregious violations. Well, so you're telling me you're gonna fine me or punish me because you deem what I did more egregious than what someone else did. So is it egregious for someone to offer someone $2 million to come to Tennessee, but not egregious for someone to offer a kid $500,000 to come to Alabama? You see what I'm saying? So then when you throw these, you're gonna go retro. That makes it even worse. And you had no power. I hope that they get some boundaries. And I don't know if I've ever said this, Joe. I was never for all out, free for all, making college football, a pay for play. Never. I always wanted kids to be able to benefit based on their name, image, and likeness truly. But just like every job has guidelines. I mean, they're union or not, no job is wild west. This may be the worst implementation. I ask you as a true false. Is this the worst implementation of any change to any industry or organization you've ever seen when it was a topic that had been on the table for 30 years? Is this the absolute worst implementation you've ever seen of anything when it comes to a change in an industry?
Oh, Martin, I don't know if I'm qualified to say worst. Based off experience, I don't know if I'm qualified to say it is the worst. So true. But I do.
But is it? Let me ask it a different way. See if it'll free you up a little bit. From what you've seen in any area, have you ever seen a change be implemented any worse with as much with as much warning that they had and as much conversation as had? Could they have implemented this any worse? True, false?
Oh no! I agree with you. Because it reminds me, Martin, and this is not really a great example, but it reminds me of when I played fantasy football with my buddies, and there's a rule change, and half the guys are, oh no, that's a bad rule, and the other half are, yeah, it's a great rule. But it reminds me of that in a way, just on a larger scale.
Yeah.
Where, oh man, I'm Tennessee and there are no rules and I can go get a guy I'm desperate for. I mean, I've been ragging my Tennessee buddy for 15 years. Well, if y'all just get a quarterback, y'all might be able to be competitive.
Yeah.
Well, y'all just get a quarterback, because that's the key of college football. I've been ragging him for 15 years.
Right.
So now, we get a quarterback for $8 million and pull this in. I think it kind of you can compare it to the early signing date, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, when Alabama was probably not quite ready to change
Right.
calendar. Nick Saban admitted that kind of snuck up on them while they were in the playoff that year. I think it kind of is similar to that, where Alabama and some of the powers that be were used to doing it a certain way, and now that it can be done any sort of way,
Yeah.
some of these other schools are taking advantage of that as well.
Yeah, I'm just amazed that you could be talking about something and having as many discussions and lawsuits and all of that. And your biggest three biggest concerns was what I just said about keeping everything amateur. And you literally, there's an article at CBS, and I love it what they said here. One of the coaches said, and when he was calling it the Wild Wild West, he said if you put together a reasonable package for a kid when you get there, right now, most people would say the speed limit is 30 and you're going 40. But to call someone else and pay $2 million for a kid to leave that campus, that's like going 150 miles per hour. Until they start enforcing the speed limit, there's no cops on the road. And that's what that to me, and that was a Power 5 coach that wanted to remain anonymous. He nailed it. The NCAA said, hey, we're building a new highway, and there's a speed limit that you need to follow. And guess what? We really don't know if the speed limit is 30, if it's 40, if it's 150. And guess what? We're not even going to put any cops out there to enforce the speed limit, even if we have a speed limit. And then now they're coming back and saying, oh, hey, everybody's been driving down this highway. By the way, 75 was the speed limit, and everybody that went over, we're going to come back and get you. How stupid is that? I mean, that's how. Anyway, let's go to Jumbo. Jumbo, you in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, good morning. I'm like I told one of the other shows, I'm still on the fence about this, but let me ask you this. With the way things are going, and the NCAA has finally gotten off their rear ends and look like they're going to try and do something, I think they're just going to drink coffee and eat donuts on this one, but do you see this becoming a contract situation where student athletes start signing contracts?
I think if the NCAA comes in and tries to set boundaries, you're going to see unions in college football.
Yeah.
So, and then of course that there will be contracts at that point, and then it'll be what I heard a really, really great coach, maybe the greatest of all time, say: if there is nothing done, and this was before any of this was officially rolled out, he said, if there's nothing done you will have players playing for their schools, not necessarily students of that school. That sound like that sound like semi-pro development league for the NFL. It's already that's what college football is anyway. Um, but he said that he could see that you have players playing that are not even in the school, but the school represents the University of Alabama. I mean, the team represents the University of Alabama, but the players aren't necessarily students.
Well, the NCAA needs some different leadership, and I understand that they're in the process of doing that. But I kind of see this thing getting out of hand to where it's going to be some of the players, big time players, i.e. Bryce Young, is going to say, so we're going to start making more than what the actual coach is making. And they say that boy in Tennessee got $8 million. That was over 3 or 4 years, and Coach Saban makes a lot of money a year. But
well, I'm gonna give you something, Jumbo, that I heard. That may bring this back into reality. Right now, there's a lot of boosters who jumped on the bandwagon, and there's the ego stroke and all of that. But I've also heard that there's a lot of boosters and businesses saying this doesn't make sense. That take a Bryce Young. He said that Bryce Young is going to be gone in a year from Alabama and going to be in California, New York, or New Orleans, wherever, but not in Tuscaloosa. So Alabama, as a football program, could be hurt because we don't have the ability to keep any of these guys in their pro career in Tuscaloosa or in the state, and that they can give these boosters said, I'd rather give my money to my university, because these guys give this money so they can get their ego stroked a lot of times. Most of them aren't giving because they care about these kids. They're getting it for what they get out of it, right? And so not everybody, not all the boosters out there and the money people and the businesses are on board. It's actually split based on when I was talking to this person, the conversations they've had. They said it's actually split right down the middle right now, that businesses and boosters are for and against. And some of them, he said, are adamant, I would never participate in an NIL. So that money may run out pretty quick if there's no return on the value. And I think that's what you're going to potentially see down the road. Right now, it's novice and all that. But if you ask me, what value has anyone that gave Bryce Young money got right now? Have you seen anything that made you go purchase or support anything that Bryce Young has?
No, sir.
Okay, so how many millions of dollars are you going to give over the course of your life? Are you going to keep doing that every year for the next Bryce Young, or eventually you're going to start wanting some return?
I'm 60 years old. I don't think I'm ever going to see a couple $1 million for my lifetime. But
no, I'm talking about if you're giving that, you may give it in the beginning once or twice, but you ain't going to keep doing that year in and year out. If you don't see any type of return. Hey, I got to get to one more call because we're running a little bit behind, Jumbo.
thank you for taking my call, Mark.
No doubt, appreciate it. George, if you can be quick, I can get you on here, or I can have you call back.
I'll be quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Mark, you kind of hit on what my topic was going to be. I just can't believe these people, like you say, these boosters, giving these high school kids that haven't even played yet millions of dollars, and then they drop out or flunk out. I mean, that's just wasted money. And these people have big money because they spend it wisely and they invest it wisely. My other topic was going to be the SEC and the other conferences. They're going to be the ones going to have to step up and come together and come with some common rules to help, put guardrails up. And that's kind of my thoughts on those things. But I'm with you not only on the money part. I just can't see these guys like the guy, viewers of the guy going to Tennessee, they giving him money. And, you know, what if he isn't very good? What if he, you know, has an injury and never plays again? And I'm also with you on, you know, like Bryce Young. I mean, I like Bryce Young, but heck, I got a number 12 jersey in my closet, not because of anybody that's played for Alabama recently, but because of Joe Namath and Kenny Stabler. You know, I mean, I guess because Alabama has always been more team than me. That's just my thoughts on it, and thanks for taking my call.
Thanks, George. We'll follow up on that comment after we get with Hank South 247 Sports, Bama Online Recruiting. Hank South coming up next. We're going to ask him a question around some scholarship potential changes that the NCAA is discussing. That conversation with Hank South 247 Sports, Bama Online Recruiting, up next.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks and everything pretty quiet as we start our Thursday morning. Of course, if you do see conditions throughout the day and folks need to hear about, please give me a call, 205-886-8886. Now you can get a lifetime powertrain warranty on used vehicles at Townsend Nissan at no charge. See dealer for details. I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard, right next door to Alabama 1, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
The Oak Ridge Boys front porch singing to it. The legendary Oak Ridge Boys. Saturday, May 28th, 8 p.m. Center Stage at Silver Star Casino. Get tickets now at PearlRiverResort.com. The Oak Ridge Boys front porch singing tour. Must be 21.
How about a chance to win a $500 gift card of your choice? Just go to crowdtap.com/spring and sign up to be a CrowdTap member. You'll automatically be entered for a chance to win a weekly prize of $500 just for signing up. CrowdTap is a diverse community of over 2 million members who get rewarded with gift cards to places like Amazon, Apple, and Sephora just for answering simple surveys for the world's biggest brands. Sign up, answer questions, earn gift cards, and automatically be entered for a chance to win that extra $500 gift card. Winners will be randomly selected each week. Go to crowdtap.com/spring today.
Nick Saban calls it the process. John Maxwell said that everything rises and falls on it. And Coach Wooden said it's what you learn after you think you know it all that makes the difference. What am I talking about? Leadership and personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church, your family, are they receiving the proper level of leadership development and personal development? If not, the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring can help you with that. We have our pep talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com, that's peptalks35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.org. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
We're back with the Martin Houston Show, Alabama 1. Alabama 1, man, I'm telling you, if you're in the market for commercial and ag equipment, maybe some of those spring and summer toys, boats, RVs, motorcycles, ATVs, golf carts, side-by-sides, etc., then you need to check out Alabama One. Go to alabama1.org and find out about the great promotion, giving you a interest rate as low as 1.99. Restrictions do apply, but potentially as low as 1.99. That's alabama1.org. And oh yeah, by the way, if you qualify for that loan and close it, you'll be entered to become our next big green egg winner. We'd like to make you a winner today, so stop by alabama1.org or go by one of our branch locations, and our loan officers will be glad to assist you. That's Alabama one together. All right, it's time for us to catch up with Hank South, 247 Sports, Bama Online Recruiting. Good morning, Hank. How you doing, sir?
Hey, good morning, Martin. I'm good. How are you?
Oh, man, doing great. Just glad to catch up with you again. This week, I'm gonna let you open up, but I do have a question around a couple changes that NCAA is thinking about or being, requested of by the American Football College Association, et cetera, around this recruiting and portal window. So, but I'll let you give us a kind of an update of where Alabama is on the recruiting trail. Looks like they're starting to make a few offers for 2023.
Yeah, it's been, right in the heart of the middle of the eval period. So coaches have been out on the road, seeing kids during spring practices, getting eyes on them, putting out offers. I mean, there's been a handful of offers almost every day the last couple of weeks to kids, whether it be in the 2023 class, 2024, some 2025. A lot of these kids, we'll see a camp next month in Tuscaloosa. Visits have kind of slowed down a little bit with spring practice coming to a close. Kids can still visit campus unofficially or officially, but we've seen a little bit lesser of those since the end of spring practice in 8A. Those will obviously pick back up come June with camp starting, official visits in the month of June, kids out on summer break and all that. That's always a really busy time for recruiting. That's kind of where we're at right now. Bama sitting with 3 commitments still. I don't think Bama fans should be worried about that. I think there's going to be a bunch more of those come summertime with official visits and all that going down. That's always kind of when that happens, it feels like in June. That's always a big month for the class to grow. So that's where Bama's at right now. Coaches out on the road. The transfer portal still happening. There's been some buzz there as Bama continues to work on any late additions to the 2022 class. So we've been tracking that a little bit as well. But other than that, that's kind of where we're at.
All right, we have Pat who wants to get in with you. Pat, you're in on the Alabama One hotline with Hank South, 247 Sports, Bama Online Recruiting. What's on your mind, sir?
Good morning, Hank. Have we got any possibilities of any how does it look for the edge rusher that we have a 5-star edge rusher that Jordan? Can you hear me? Hello, let's call back.
We may have dropped Hank for a second. Pat, what were you going through now? You're saying
okay, the 5-star edge rusher, Jordan, Wayne.
I don't follow recruiting until it's that time.
I lost him, and we got him back on the line. So why don't you start back over? I'm sorry about that, Pat.
Okay, all right, good deal. I'm here.
Go ahead. He's here. Everybody's
over. Everybody's over. Okay. I wanted to talk about Jordan Wayne, the 5-star edge rusher. Do we have a legitimate shot with him? His film looks pretty good.
Yeah, he's actually named Alabama his leader throughout the spring. He's been to Tuscaloosa 3 times out from the state of Washington. I think Bama has a really good shot for him. At the same time, I think he's enjoying the recruiting process. He's taking official visits. He's supposed to be at Georgia next weekend for an official. He's going to obviously take an official visit to Alabama, be back on campus there. But Bama, they have a very good shot at him. He, like I said, he's named Alabama his leader. He's been to campus 3 or 4 times. He's going to be back in for an official. He's actually being talked to. I mean, he is a 5-star edge, but he's also being recruited as essentially a tight end as well. So he can play both ways. So certainly a Big Ten athlete that, I think Bama has a very good shot for.
Good deal. Thank you. That's great information. Hopefully his recruiting business is going to go well. Coach always says, hopefully the cookie lady will be back at it. Y'all have a blessed day. Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir. All right. Hank, Nick Saban already offering a 2025 in-state recruit at wide receiver. Maybe Nick Saban is trying to change his narrative that he doesn't want wide receivers and that he's going to recruit them, not just transfer them in, right? But two offers recently going out from Alabama. Andy Jean from Miami, viewed as a top recruit, but he only has a 3-star ranking. Kind of talk to us a little bit about him. He's one of the 79th player in the state of Florida, 54 wide receiver. What's up with this guy? Is this one of these late bloomer 3 stars that's going to be a 4 or 5-star by the time it's all said and done?
Another example of spring eval period. Get kind of get to not necessarily discovered, but they get more exposure with coaches out on the road. They can see them. They can see their tape, see them in person. Get a look at them, talk to their head coach, and kind of get more of a full picture of them. But yeah, Andy Jean, he's a guy that's seen his stock really start to climb the last few weeks. Florida's pushing for him. Alabama obviously offered him. LSU offered him recently. He caught 40 passes for 730 yards and 8 touchdowns last season. Miami Northwestern, obviously, a school that's put out a ton of talent. I know he runs track as well. And he's played really well against, big competition. Against IMG Academy last season, he had 122 yards and 2 scores. And played really well in the 7-on-7 circuit. So he's doing everything he needs to do. He's getting eyes on him, and we're seeing that kind of pay off for him. And I think he's a kid that certainly, he's gonna see his ranking eventually climb if he continues to do what he's doing. 6'1", 180, really good speed. I would expect he's gonna officially visit Alabama probably maybe next month, maybe in the fall. I don't think he's steady out. He just got that offer the other day, but I know he has a Florida official visit set for June 24th. I know Miami's pushing for him. So, the schools, the local schools are pushing for him. We got SEC schools pushing for him. So, I think he's going to be a coveted kid when all said and done.
Yeah. Yeah, you can go to Top 109 and read more on him. But I thought it was interesting. Decommitted from Miami, 3-star that now has 16 offers in the call for. But like you said, played well against a big competition. And I tell kids, anytime you get a chance to play against a kid that's being recruited by everybody, learn to leave it all on the line every day, but especially when you're going against a top recruit. I don't know if you've ever heard the Bob Bumhauer story or not, but a very similar case with Coach Bryant and them had this big recruit out of Banks High School, Hank, and they were watching film on their big get. Like it'd be like you landing Will Anderson and you right before final day, you just kind of looking at it and saying, okay, hey, yeah, look at this. And they said, Coach Bryant said, who is this guy that's whooping our top recruit? And they said, that's Bob Bumhauer. And he's like, this kid is, and he went to Tuscaloosa High School, which is now Central. He said, he's right in our backyard. And they said he was on his official visit at Vanderbilt. And it's not as easy as it is now, but they had to track him down to get a message to him right before he signed with Vanderbilt. And Coach Donahue met him at the airport. So, and they offered him. And, of course, we know Bumhauer came here and did really well and then went on to be part of the Killer Bees. So hey, looked like this young man may have showed up at the right time against IMG and others. So, but yeah, Hank, we're going to talk deeper about this, but how much have you heard, and are they going to implement this this rule where they look like it may be a temporary thing for a couple of years because of the transfer protocol, but removing the 25-man limit is this proposal going to happen, for this upcoming signing class?
Yeah, I haven't heard officially, if it's going to, affect this upcoming class. I've heard that kind of be in the rumbling, going forward. So I couldn't really speak too much on it, but I know that's kind of on the radar right now. I doubt it would. I'm not sure who would go in play this signing class. Probably down the line, but again, I feel like things are changing every week.
Yeah.
The transfer portal, outline a little too late, but they are trying to kind of combat free agency in college football. So I'm not sure what's that's going to change much, but we'll see.
Yeah, and what was interesting is they're talking about letting them do the 25, but not letting them go over the 85. So you still kind of have a catch-22 based on who leaves and all of that, and so that's going to be an interesting process, and we're going to talk a little deeper about it. But I don't want to dig into that on you. I wanted to kind of flip to the hoops for a second. Any news around Alabama basketball picking up any more players from the portal?
Yeah, we saw Nate Oates, heard Nate Oates talk yesterday. Pretty funny quote saying, they've gone after some guys that were scared to compete. So kind of calling out the kids they were recruiting out of the transfer portal that ended up going elsewhere.
Ouch.
But he did say, what's that?
I said, ouch.
I know. He's got some good quotes sometimes. But he said they want to finish or fill. They'd like to fill their remaining two spots. Obviously, that's kind of where they're at since Quinterly announced he's returning. That leaves them with two available scholarship spots on the roster for next season. So we've seen them recruit several guys. The most recent kind of notable guy was Jared Lucas, the guard from Oregon State that ended up committing to Nevada. So beyond him, there's still some other guys out there they've been in communication with, whether it be, Michael Jones from Davidson, a veteran guard from Davidson that's considering Alabama and Stanford. Matthew Mayer, the Baylor guard that's in the portal. He's been in contact with Alabama. So there's guys on the radar. I think we'll see probably some more names emerge in terms of guys are interested in with these final two spots. But that's kind of where we're at. I think we could potentially see this go into the summer, and then there's other situations where kids could potentially reclassify from 2023 and be eligible for 2022. We saw Kyler Lewis go until August before that was official. So I don't think it's anything where there's a huge pressure on time right now. I think they're gonna do their due diligence, see who's out there, see what they can bring in for next season.
All right, that's Hank South, 247 Sports, Bama Online Recruiting. Hank, just yes or no, you don't have to go deep into this, but is Eli Holstein saying, "Hold on, everybody, the namesake Manning may not necessarily be the best quarterback in the nation"? Is he making a push that he might be the guy that you need to hang your hat on?
I mean, he's certainly doing everything he needs to do. I mean, he's shown out on the Elite 11 circuit, posting the best ever SPARQ score for a quarterback. Obviously, he's got the tape. You can go turn on his tape, and he puts it all out there on the field. Said everything he needs to do there. You can certainly see why he's just as much of a coveted target quarterback as Arch Manning, at least for Alabama, and I'm sure for other schools too. So, I put in my pick for Alabama early last week. I think he's the quarterback that's going to step in the class. But, Arch Manning's still out there. We saw him earlier this week with Georgia and Texas kind of combating. They were there for him. But I think as of this moment, I like the chances for Holstein better.
All right. Tell our listeners, Hank, where they can find you and what you got going on.
Yeah, BamaOnline.com. Again, it's the eval period, so it's not as much news happening, but still, fun to be on the board with the transfer portal and all that stuff going on. My Twitter handle is @HankSouth247.
At Hank South 247 Sports, best follow in recruiting. Thanks, Hank. We appreciate you, sir.
Sure, thanks, Mark.
All right, coming back on the other side, we'll have the Alabama One Insurance 2-minute warning.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks. Traffic still moving pretty well as we get into our Thursday morning. If you do see conditions, of course, give me a call, 205-886-8886. Now you can get a lifetime powertrain warranty on used vehicles at Townsend Nissan at no charge. See dealer for details. I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Thursday morning. The United States is the first country in the world to exceed 1 million COVID-19 deaths. Alabama has experienced almost 20,000 pandemic deaths, 786 of them here in Tuscaloosa County. The milestone is surpassed as Alabama and 29 other states are seeing a surge in coronavirus cases. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news, sports, and weather coverage. It's absolutely free. On Hartley, Town Square meeting in Tuscaloosa.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. If you're looking for a way to add value to your home, make your flower beds pop, make your landscaping stand out from your neighbors, then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help you do just that. They have numerous styles, but they feature the Moroccan Stone Curb Series, which includes 4 great styles and unlimited color choices. That's Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. They are the one that can help you stand out from your neighbors. Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, 205-331-6823. You may also find yourself with the need for a custom size stone or custom shaped stone. Then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help with that as well. Paul Fuller and his team are waiting on your call right now for that free quote. And if you tell them that Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show told you to stop by, you'll get a big discount. So call Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing at 205-331-6823 or visit them online at Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, LLC.
Get in zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. Thinking about gas mileage? Quality oil like Mobil 1 Full Synthetic can help you get more out of every mile. Got an older vehicle? Try Mobil 1 Full Synthetic High Mileage. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life oil filter for only $37.99. Get what you need for better fuel efficiency at any of our 6,000 stores or on AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
In a collision, easy decision. Make one call to one name. Mesrano, 206-6300.
No representation made the quantity legal services to be performed. Take where the quantity legal services performed by other lawyers.
In Joe Biden's America, inflation is out of control, interest rates are skyrocketing, and your grocery bill has nearly doubled. Folks in Tuscaloosa and Pickens counties are worried about how they'll provide for their families. Well, Ron Bolton has a plan. Ron Bolton will cut taxes on small businesses and working families. Ron Bolton will fight back against D.C. and the liberal policies causing inflation. On May 24th, vote for conservative Ron Bolton. Paid for by Ron Bolton Campaign, P.O. Box 632, Northport, Alabama 35476.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
All right, welcome back into the Martin Houston Show, the Alabama One Insurance 2-minute warning. Go check them out. Get a quote online, right there online, auto, home, or hey, if you want a quick life quote, protect the value, protect the assets you work so hard to build, leave a legacy of love with life insurance. You can go to alabama1insurance.com and get a quote right there, or call us at 205-342-0112. That's Alabama One Insurance. We'll review your policy, reduce your premium, and you can relax knowing that you're properly covered. All right, Joe, we can pick up both of these conversations on tomorrow to dig a little deeper, but just like to get a little true, false. On the NCAA rules, it looks like they're going to, according to Brian Fisher of Athlon Sports, it looks like they're going to do they're proposing a 2-year waiver for the transfer portal effect. True, false, deal, no deal, whichever way you want to answer it. This is something that they need to do and potentially need to. They look like I don't see that they're setting a limit on it yet, but deal, no deal. This is something that they need to implement.
I think it's something they need to implement correctly if they're going to implement it. Because folks will probably take advantage of it. But yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Yeah, because Nick Saban's down all the guys who graduated and left early for the NFL, plus 18 scholarship players into the transfer portal. They're not touching the 85. That's a question you and I can answer on tomorrow. Is it time for them to revisit the 85 limit as well, with the fact that teams are having to play upwards of 11, 12 games a year? Should they look at potentially bumping up the roster? And then last but not least, and we'll dig deeper into what this means, is Eli Hosting gonna make a case that he's the guy that everyone should be after, and not just Manning, based on what he's putting out there.
Absolutely true. I think he's proven it with all his testing and scores.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I want to talk to you more about that conversation, because this guy, I don't know if you've talked about the specifics. We know that he has the highest, but we're going to talk about some of those numbers tomorrow. And is Eli Hosting the best quarterback in this class? And hey, he has part of the Manning name, right? I mean, there's Eli Hosting, not Eli Manning, but Arch Manning, Eli. We'll talk about that. Eli saying, don't go too fast. Don't bypass me. Watch what I do and see if I'm not the best guy. We'll talk more about him. We'll have a free-for-all Friday. May even do a little flip the script Friday on tomorrow, where you can call up and ask Joe and I any question you want to do. Lots going on with the Martin Hughes Show, and we're glad that you make it happen each and every day. Thanks to all the callers, listeners, viewers, and chatters for being a part of the program. We'll be back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. Remember this: trust in the Lord always. Lean not in your own understanding. All your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. Roll Tide, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide.
You too, Joe. Thanks, man.